Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to just wait about 10 to 20 seconds while everybody gets logged in because you're not going to want to miss today's speaker and presentation. We have lots of good stuff for you today. We'll wait just a few more seconds. All right, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for a special presentation we have today. Today I have on with us for a presentation David Dowd. He is the founder of Sell Mom's House. David is a recognized expert in senior housing and later life transitions. As founder of Sell Mom's House, he has dedicated his career to guiding families through the often overwhelming process of downsizing, relocating, and finding the right living solutions for aging loved ones. With decades of experience in real estate and deep connections across the senior living ecosystem, David has built a trusted blueprint that combines compassion with practical systems. Through Sell Mom's House, David equips real estate professionals with tools, marketing strategies, and coaching they need to serve seniors and their families with confidence. His mission is simple yet powerful: to create smoother, more dignified transitions for families while helping agents build thriving businesses in one of the fastest growing markets in real estate. I'm so excited to bring you guys this program. It's going to be a game changer for many of you. And with that, I want to turn things over and welcome David Dowd.
Thank you very much, Stacy, and hello, everyone. I'm very excited to be here. Again, my name is David Dowd, and I'm the founder of Sell Mom's House. Sell Mom's House is a channel marketing play that really is designed as a listing system for seniors. My background is channel marketing. I've been in technology and came into the real estate market through the being a loan officer for many years. And I focused on rehabs when I first got into the real estate business. I wanted to do rehabs. That led me to the senior market, where older homes, of course, are available from seniors who may be selling. So this is a proven listing system. And what I'm going to do is just get right into the presentation here and let you know that it's a great time to be a senior. And why is that? It's because of all the services that are available to seniors. We call it the Senior Echo system. So we're going to go through what that's all about, because you're going to be calling on people who are receptive to a message, because we're helping them with their primary business, with what they do every day. So channel marketing, which is my specialty through a lifetime of sales and marketing, is a method to reach customers. And what we're going to do is build lasting bonds with repeat referral sources by helping people who are already in the business of helping seniors. So the senior market, of course, itself is huge because it's the largest turnover of generational wealth. And it's really amazing how it's picking up momentum now. Now, I think we can all agree that listings are difficult to achieve, and people look at them in different ways. What you're doing with the senior ecosystem is fishing in less crowded waters. This quick graphic just shows that on the left, the real estate market is crowded because people in all all realtors are searching for listings. But when you're searching in the senior ecosystem, you're dealing with senior professionals and communities, and you're really fishing in less crowded waters. So why do people sell in the first place? Well, how do you identify? They move because of a job change, upsizing or downsizing. Their location may not fit for them anymore, or they may not need the house, in fact, but they're difficult to identify. What's easy to identify is that through the referrals you'll get from the senior ecosystem, you're dealing with people who deal with seniors on a daily basis. But more importantly, we teach you how to hone down your approach to the places where there's a nexus of or a crisis happening, and the seniors that are in that part of the ecosystem, I mean the providers are actually in touch with seniors who want to move. So this just quickly shows the traditional ways that people get listings, right? Circle of influence, word of mouth, pay to play, networking. Those are the traditional sources. But there's fierce competition in all those sources, except for the council, except for the COI, your own circle of influence, and word of mouth. The big opportunity here is to build a recurring referral network to likely sellers. And in that case, you're practically the only realtor they seriously consider. Okay, that's an important point to make. So we're going to call on people that are part of the senior ecosystem, and of course their staff and friends and families also buy and sell houses. So the first and one of the most important aspects of this is ALS, what I call ALFs, assisted living, independent living, and memory care. Those are communities that are looking to fill apartments that, of course, provide housing and meals and so forth for the seniors. And they're very receptive to our message, and I'll get to why in a minute. Also, councils on aging, especially the social workers and event coordinators in those councils on aging, they're the same as senior centers. They're mandated by the state, at least in Massachusetts, to have one in every community. So every community has a senior center, and we go in and we meet them. And we also look at crisis points like rehab, hospitals, and geriatric care. And we go in with a simple message that we're there to help them serve their seniors. And that's a message they're receptive to, because they want to fill their apartments in some cases. They want to, in the senior centers, help with all kinds of things. And the social workers are go-to people when there's a crisis. And at the crisis points like rehab hospitals, discharge planners are sometimes working with seniors who can't go home anymore because they've had a slip and fall, and it's time for them to change locations. So the point is that the primary sources we're going to work on are also crisis points, and that's where you're more often going to find a listing. And big pause there. But the derivative sources of these primary locations are also important. What I mean by derivatives is their staff, their employees, the adult children of the seniors who are looking to place mom and dad in the location, and the businesses that serve seniors. They all buy houses. Everybody knows seniors. So it makes sense that we're establishing recurring referral sources by helping people with their primary business. And that's a message that they're receptive to, because we're not in there selling ourselves as a realtor and looking for just for us. We're selling them as a valued business partner who is serving the same market they are, seniors. So that's really the tip of the iceberg, but the most important, one of the most important we look. There's also a lot of other people who work with seniors occasionally. Professional services, CPAs, real estate attorneys, but also general attorneys, financial planners, and so forth. Medical, of course, deals with it, and all those people also buy and sell homes. The point of this secondary slide is that we also want to reach out to other verticals with a unique message and campaigns. So we're going to do a campaign. For example, in the fall, you could do a campaign for CPAs because they're going to deal with people who are selling their homes as part of their tax return and so forth. We can do a campaign to rehab hospitals and the discharge planners with a message. So you're not just calling on these people. Lair is going to email them, and when you call on them, we're setting them up in a database, but we're also preconditioning them to this messaging, because we're going to be emailing them about Sell Mom's House and our unique services. And there's one other category that's quite important on this screen, and that's homeowner services. People in the trades, contractors, landscapers, move managers, people like that. Well, they're all involved, as you know, when it's time to sell a house. So we want to also make them aware of our unique offerings in a two-way street with them to help them get listings from us when we have a listing, and some, not listings, but clients from us when we have a listing and we want to sell a home. We're going to need, in many cases, landscapers, painters, contractors, and so forth. And septic contractors can be an early warning system because they're dealing with people that are doing Title Fives. So all these secondary sources are also very interesting. The interesting part, another interesting part, though, is we have so much to call on in the primary that it takes a while to get to those other areas. So that describes the senior ecosystem. Now let's talk about what our message is to them. We've got a simple selling premise to both of them. We're there to help their clients, to help them with their own business. But what we do with the clients is we simplify a complex process. Moving, as you know, is a stressful process for everyone. And the most stressful part is dealing with a lifetime of possessions. So at these senior centers and at the assisted living locations, we do seminars on downsizing and selling. It's called Downsizing and Selling from Daunting to Done. We have a complete PowerPoint presentation. We have handouts. We have free downsizing guide, things that you can use as, when you're selling, but also we do events on downsizing and selling because we simplified this complex process. So our message when we go and meet with someone is, look, if, for example, with the assisted living, they've got a wait list of, or a hot list of 500 to 1,000 people that have already visited their location. We invite those people to a seminar at that location, and they provide for us a room and food and so forth. I want to just see about whether or not I should be waiting on that for 1 second. I don't want to get too far ahead. So the message, though, to the seniors is we simplify a complex task. And that complex task, moving and preparing and dealing with a lifetime of possessions. So what we tell the senior service providers is we help them achieve their goals by improving occupancy, lengthening stays in their location, and simplifying that complex process. And our message is, let us help you achieve your primary goals of serving seniors. So everybody benefits from this. The seniors and their family members really appreciate the simplified approach that Sell Mom's House offers, the education we offer through our seminars that you will offer by doing our seminar in your geographic area. And they want to move their parents to a safer location in some cases. We introduce them to senior service providers. So we're not just selling a house. We're providing a solution to how do you get from here to there, and making that a much less stressful process. So for you, it means recurring referral sources, closing more listings, and differentiation from the competition. When you're in with this kind of a service-oriented pitch, and you're able to demonstrate with your marketing materials and with your educational materials that you really do have a different approach, then you're really top of mind when it comes to making a decision on who to go with. Very often, after a seminar, they really don't look at other sources. I've had situations where I've gone into a listing appointment and I've seen my materials on the table. I've seen an ad or two from that I had in the newspaper about our turnkey process, and I say to them, and sometimes those ads are a couple of years old. I say, what made you wait so long? Said, well, we knew we were going to move, and we were just waiting for the right time. And we saved those materials because we knew you were the guy we were going to call. Um, I want to get to rehabs also. That's another portion of this in a few minutes. So um, everyone from you as the agents benefit from getting listings and having a differentiated selling premise and materials ready to go that could be branded in your name. The senior and the family members benefit from simplifying a complex task and really um, taking the burden off of the family in many cases, because they tend to overdo it. They worry about this for years, as you know, and those are years that they're not enjoying life. They're taking time to worry about their parents, make trips to check on them, and ultimately to help them move, which could take years. We condense that years down to probably 90 days or less if possible. And we're helping the referral sources to manage and get more clients. So once you get this territory going, here's kind of what it looks like. You've got this councils on aging and their directors, their social workers, their event coordinators, and so forth. You got crisis points at the rehab hospitals who are dealing with discharging people that had a slip and fall and can't go home anymore. So we often hear about that, before they move, and we can help with all kinds of things from lining up a buyer in advance, circulating, coming soon, but we can also even help in some cases to help them get admitted to assisted living if and only if we can prove that there's equity in their home and they're actually in fact listing it, because they have certain financial requirements to get into an assisted living location, and we help that process too. So we're going to talk to the COAs, to the crisis points, going around counterclockwise here. And your council on aging and your social media is important as well. You want to let your clients know and your close clients and your COI about this program. We've got email templates. We've got content you can give them. We can send them a free downsizing guide. You can post these things on your social media, with calls to action there for people to request a free downsizing guide and so forth. And you can wind up with lots of good videos and content because you're out there helping seniors and you're doing good. That's a big part of this. And then there's, of course, other solutions, or other sources, elder law, geofarming, sometimes dealing with tax delinquents and so forth. We have campaigns that we've done against these targets, and you can implement all these different techniques once you get past the basics. And of course, live events is very important. So at the beginning, what you're going to do is, this is just a summary of what you're going to do. So we want to image you to be able to image what it's like to work with this program. And what we want to do is get you out this fall, meeting people at the COAs and the councils on aging, and scheduling these seminars. So what you're going to do is, again, get out there, create a schedule, get on their calendar, orient them on Sell Mom's House, leave your branded materials, and try to get to the point where you know the key decision makers within the councils on aging and the people who help the seniors themselves. Those are the counselors that go, that actually the seniors go to when they have any kind of problem. And they point them to resources to help them with whatever they need. So those are counselors that meet with seniors on a daily basis. And you let them know what you have to offer, that you got a turnkey solution. Some of them want to move, they're befuddled, they don't know where to start, and they say, how am I going to deal with all my stuff? That's a worry, it's a stress point. Well, you can then, what hopefully you want to have happen is they say, look, I've got a realtor that specializes on this. You mind if I give them your number, or can I make an introduction? So that's again within those primary sources. Now, there's also, big pause here, a lot of other networking locations. And we want you to join a senior service network group in your area. You'll find that these meet monthly. There's usually 30 to 50 people at a meeting, and everybody gets up and for 30 seconds, that's what they do and sit down. You do have realtors that come and go in those groups, but no one focuses on seniors. And because it's a senior services networking group, you've got a receptive message there as well. And you already know how to approach the categories of people that are there, like the managers from the senior centers and the salespeople at the ALF communities. They call them community relations managers. That's their code word for salespeople. And by going to these networking meetings, you become the subject matter expert when people need to move. So that's an important part of this, is the networking, joining a senior services network group. Now, you'll also find that there's many other senior-oriented events that happen during the month and during the holidays in particular. And a lot of those are run by the assisted independent living locations, who invite the senior ecosystem or the senior support services, people from their networking group and others, for a reception after hours with hors d'oeuvres and soft drinks and sometimes wine and beer and so forth. And these are great networking events. They're free. You practically schedule one every week or one every day during the holidays in your area. Once you get to know these people, you get on their mailing list when you meet them, and they start sending you these invitations. And while you're there, you're networking with other people who are servicing seniors. So it all comes together very nicely. And again, of course, you're going to work with your COI as well. And we've already been over that, but you can imagine this is a receptive message to them. Everybody knows seniors. And even if they're not thinking of moving or they're not seniors themselves, you can say, look, I'm here to help your neighbors, your friends. And we've got a turnkey solution. You get into it a little bit. And you make them aware that when you hear these situations, you're the person to call. And lastly, what you do is you enter this into a database that's provided by us. And from there, we will be sending messages on a regular basis, basically nurturing those leads that you create. So what you're doing is basically simple networking and nurturing. You need to commit a day and a half, a week, or more to that. And I would split that up with phone work a little bit, just to make introductions and make appointments for in-person visits. Face-to-face marketing is so much more effective than, for example, social media or other random ways to meet lots of people and get your message out. When you make a face-to-face meeting with someone whose business you're offering to help, and you're talking their language, when it makes a huge difference. When you go into these senior centers, you're talking about improving their census. The assisted living and independent living, their census, which is their word for occupancy. If you can improve their occupancy, you're helping them reach their goals. And the other way you help them reach those goals is by getting people in sooner, because you've taken them off their hot list and into an apartment sooner. And the average stay in those locations is really only 2 or 3 years, maybe 4 years. So if you get them in 6 months, 24 months earlier, it makes a huge difference in their revenue and their census or occupancy. And that's how they're measured. And by the way, I just while we're on those topics, I just want to mention that there are chains of assisted living locations with centralized management, and I will be approaching them with you or for you. And very often we go top down to be able to say to the manager of the New England region, for example, or someone like I don't know, Brookstone or some of the other assisted living locations, we can offer to do these seminars across locations on a scheduled basis and set you up for that. Or we could do other uh, advertising programs with them, where they banner our message at the bottom of their ads in senior papers and so forth, for the seminars and the events. So it really becomes a cooperative thing where you're out there meeting people, talking marketing, talking solutions, talking about filling their apartments, meeting their business goals, and most importantly, servicing the seniors that we both are in the business of helping, and in particular when there's a crisis. So what do you get for this when you join the program? You get coaching and strategy. We've been over this now already. Which senior points work best and how to approach them. We do that in monthly week group meetings every other week. We'll do a 45 to an hour meeting. We'll exchange success stories. We'll also be talking about rolling out a vertical market, doing a farming campaign, um, what our program is for the holidays, for the senior centers and so forth. And the scripts, messaging, objection handling, all this is going to happen in the 45-minute meetings, but also a lot of collaboration. Great thing about this program, and by the way, this, we've done this program before, is that you've got individual and team coaching and collaboration. So the individual coaching is 20 minutes to 30-minute sessions with me personally every other week, or necessary every week. And collaboration with your fellow team members. It's great to hear success stories, hear objections, how you overcame them. I've got an event coming up, that kind of thing, helping each other out. And by the way, there's other events. There's a screen in here. I might have skipped over it a little bit, like home shows and town meetings where you can get a table. You put up a Sell Mom's House sign, and people come by and they get a kick out of it. And they joke with you, "What about Dad's house?" And what do you do for seniors? It's not just a realty; it's a discussion, and it's a great lead-in. And it's a very warm and friendly and receptive message. And then we do again lead gen campaigns and so forth. I want to mention buyers for a minute. At the bottom of this slide, it says buyer flyer or off-market property potential. This is really important. I don't particularly focus on buyers, but when I'm doing open houses, of course, I want any buyer I can get, and I want to be able to capture their names. And the Sell Mom's House message helps in that regard, because we have a little flyer you can use that explains off-market properties. When seniors are getting ready to move, sometimes it takes a while. It can take months. You probably experienced this yourself, where they want to move and they're downsizing slowly, or the place has some deferred maintenance and they want to fix things and so forth and so on. But when you're aware of these things, you can sometimes set up a pre-showing, so to speak, and talk to the seniors about, if I were to bring a buyer in and who would make a bid on your property as is, so you didn't have to fix the roof, you didn't have to do all the landscaping, cut the bushes, all the good things that are a downsizing presentation. And instead, you could just take a cash offer and they'd even do the clean out. Would you accept it? Sometimes that that they can be receptive to that. The point is that the buyers, whether you can actually deliver on that promise or not, are interested in the prospect of off-market properties. Not everyone. Some people want a turnkey, house as is. They don't want to paint. They don't want to do anything. But there's also first-time home buyers who are stretching their income to the limit, and they'd be receptive to an off-market property. So this is a good lead capture thing when you're discussing with people at the open house, how you can help them in ways that other agents cannot help them. I've had people walking out the door, because I was busy talking to somebody else, and I say, hey, thanks for coming. Did you sign up? Maybe they missed the thing. They said, don't worry, we got your card. We'll call you when we're ready. And I've said to them, would you be interested in off-market property if it was available, something that was a fixer-upper, that kind of thing. I've had them turn around, come right back into the open house, and say, how can you do that? Well, we're Sell Mom's House. We're in touch with many seniors who are getting their houses ready, and we can provide that kind of service. So it can work for buyers as well. Not to mention the fact that I've already stressed several times that everybody you're talking to in the ecosystem knows people who also buy houses. They could be first-time home buyers. It could be all kinds of things. But by knowing people, you're extending your COI, and if you establish a relationship with them, you become a trusted advisor. You're a specialist in the senior market. You can also differentiate yourself for buyers and get them to sign that buying agreement because you're offering off-market properties and others aren't. So there's a strong pitch for buyers as well. Okay, so the quick review here is what you're doing is you're calling on these people in all these groups. You're establishing recurring meetings with them. You're establishing seminars with them, getting across the idea that we are a trusted resource and we're different from other realtors. You're getting that to your COI and to others as well, entering in the database, and they're getting nurtured without you having to do it. So you're customer facing most of the time, and you're getting all the services and support services you need for that, from coaching and strategy, branded templates, to lead gen campaigns, and again, collaborating with your fellow layer agents who are part of the program. So now we get to the cost, and I'm happy to take questions after that. This is the last slide. The coaching fee is $150 a month, with first and last in advance, and we like you to commit for a minimum of 6 months. And the reason for that is it does take time to fill a pipeline and nurture it. We all know that. But it also takes time to schedule these events and do the events. That's a seasonal approach, by the way, with the events, or there's seasonality to the events. You want to take the summers basically off. It's hard, for a lot of reasons to do them in the summers, and the holidays are also not the best time. So spring and fall, you want to be doing 2 to 4 events per month. Again, you've got all the materials for that. But the point here is that the coaching fee covers all of that and more. There's deal and strategy and problem solve. I'm happy to talk to you about individual deals. I'm happy to help you close individual deals. If you've got seniors with a situation that you haven't encountered before, call me up. I'll help you with it. If you want to set up a Zoom call with them in their location, we can do that as well. I'm a closer. I really am. I try very hard to close carefully and close often, but I can help you close the business. And I just want to mention too that part of the coaching is to ask when you're at these locations, do they have seniors right now that they're working with that have situation you can help them with? When you call up on follow-up calls, you want to ask them, how's that hot list coming? And tell me about a situation I can help. Tell me the client's first name. And then later on, you can follow up. Is Mary still on the hot list? Is she out of the rehab hospital yet? That kind of thing. And you get to know them and work it all through. I want to mention the referral fee. That I want to come back to territories and then take questions if we still have time. The referral fee is 30% of the listing referral or the buy referral if being associated with Sell Mom's House is part of the process. Certainly when you get a lead from a seminar, it's obvious that that's something that was generated as a result of your activities. with the Sell Mom's House strategies. But also, if they call you and you met them through Sell Mom's House and their son or daughter is going to buy a house, well, that would apply as well. So the 150 a month coaching fee is something that's loaded with value, and the referral fee is basically the same as you would pay Zillow or someone else, unqualified lead that you know doesn't have a strong pitch, a strong message to differentiate you from all the other agents out there that are calling on that same lead. So let's see, what did I want to go back to? Oh, the territory. The territory is semi exclusive. And what I mean by that is that we want you to pick towns that are close to you that you could service. In those towns, there's only one council on aging, but there's probably, if you go within a 10-mile circle of you, wherever you're sitting, there's probably 20 different assisted independent living locations. If you broaden that circle to 2 or 3 towns, you might be talking 50 or locations or more. Well, we don't want 3 or 4 layer agents calling on that one senior center or calling on these independent living locations. Those are what are exclusive within your towns. Doesn't stop another realtor from stopping in, but at least you're going to be the only one in there with these messages and these professional materials calling on those locations. And other than that, you can sell anywhere, because what happens is that you could do a seminar in Waltham, and the person's mother might be living on the Cape or in Gloucester, and you're broadening your service area because of the fact that seniors, your referral sources are getting referrals that are dispersed geographically. It's not just in those towns. So even though you're exclusive in those towns, which is a real advantage, you can really sell anywhere that you run into a client or want to prospect, even if it's not in your town. Let's see, and that's basically the summary. I'm going to go back to the first screen here and just let it sit there while we talk, or else maybe I'll stop the screen share and see if there's any questions, or if Stacy wants to add, some other things.
Yeah, I want to share my screen. Let's see. Can you unshare? And then okay.
Yeah.
I think.
Did I unshare?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I want to share with everybody how this partnership came about. So David has been in real estate for quite some time, and at his last brokerage, he built a team. And when David first joined the brokerage, he was explaining to me exactly how he built a significantly sized real estate business. Now, one thing that's interesting to me as a broker owner is that David does not come across as a salesperson. So he comes across as an educator. So I thought it was interesting that he built a significant real estate business without looking like a salesperson. He built his business by simply building a system that goes out and educates the public on how to sell Mom's house. After having multiple meetings with David, I then realized it was way more than just that. It was more than him being able to go and have conversations one-on-one with a child of a loved one who needs to move, or educating people about what their options are for moving. What I realized is that he built a system. His system included events. It included marketing to assisted living and independent living centers and councils on aging. He built out this massive ecosystem. And so when he joined Lair, he came to me and he said, okay, now I'm ready to build my team again. I had a team at my last brokerage. I'm now going to build a team here. And I said, you know what? Instead of building a team of like 6 or 7 agents, why don't we take your system and expand it into multiple states and multiple territories? And instead of you getting referral fees, not even, instead of getting a split from 7 agents, why don't we work out a program where you get referral fees based on the transactions that come in through the Sell Mom's House marketing, but also that you're getting paid for the value you bring to the table as a coach. And so David and I have been meeting weekly for the last several months, and we designed this program. Now, he's already done this once because he built a large real estate team just using the tools for himself. Now we're taking the same stuff he's always done. He's already marketing to thousands and thousands of senior living communities, independent living, assisted living, councils on aging. So the name is already out there in all of the markets that we do business in. So I want to explain exactly what you get if you do opt into the program. Is number one, by becoming part of the Sell Mom's Home program or Sell Mom's House program, number one, you get an instant support network. So as you start building events and meeting with clients, you've got a support network of people that can answer your questions around questions like, what is next? What is the next step for my mom? Should I do assisted living, independent living? What is the difference? So number one, you have an ecosystem of support. Secondly, and this is really important, you have instant credibility. So by becoming part of the Sell Mom's House program, you instantly have the credibility of being an expert within this field. Now, are you an expert on day one? No. We think it's going to take you 12 months to 2 years to truly become an expert in the program. So, but that's why we've built in the coaching calls so that every month you're going to build upon what you learned the previous month. But in a year to 2 years, you're going to be an expert in your own right by building your real estate blueprint around this. So, of course, the coaching is a really important part of the entire program. The reason that I want you to think about whether this is a good program for you is when David and I were talking about who is this built for? Honestly, if you're doing $10 million a year in business right now, you're probably not going to have the time to dedicate to this. In other words, this is not a program that you can sign up for and reserve a territory and just sit back and wait for referrals to come in for that territory. No, this is something that between Sell Mom's House and you, it's something you build and work on together. So already David's team is already marketing to most of the assisted living and councils on aging within the marketplaces. There's email programs, mailing programs going out to these communities. So but you're going to be the boots on the ground. You're going to be the one that we can make introductions to and say, we're get you the appointments so that you can get to doing events. So when considering whether this is a great fit for you, I think if you're doing less than $5 million a year in business and you wish to be doing 5, 10, $20 million a year in business, this is the program for you. When David and I sat and talked about like, what is the time commitment? It is doing the coaching calls. You do have to show up and there's action steps you have to take every single month. The goal is to make 2 connections per week with this program. And those connections are councils on aging and senior living communities, making connections, because over time, this is going to be about hosting events. Because, by the way, like David said, assisted living communities want you to come out and do an event. They're looking for content, they're looking for people to come out and do these programs. So if you don't have the time to put into making those 2 contacts a week, showing up to the coaching calls, hosting events, it's honestly not a program for you. Maybe you could put a team member in, say you want to be a part of it, but you don't have the time to dedicate to it. Then maybe sign up, but have a team member that is the face of it for your team. So there is work involved. It's not just a lead program, it is a business blueprint. This system will give you the blueprint to build a significant business like David has. And not only that, you don't have to be an unbelievable salesperson. You're going to be an educator in the space, and we're going to help make you the expert in the space. The other piece I loved about what David has built, and this is just like the foundation of it, is he has so many great marketing pieces already, from brochures to buyer guides, seller guides, estate planning guides. He's built out this entire system so that when you do an event, when you get in front of a buyer or a seller in this space, you're not showing up empty-handed, fumbling around. You're going to show up and look professional. You're going to already look like a very credible source within this space. Also, by joining the program, you will be featured on David's website, Sell Mom's House. The reason this matters is because of his email list. He consistently emails to more than 5,000 senior living communities in all the states that we do business in. So constantly people are landing on this site to find out more about Sell Mom's House and what makes agents who are with this program different than just a regular real estate agent. So once you sign up for the program, you're then featured on his website as one of his agents. Now, will you get referrals? The answer is yes. So from the beginning, David, because he's constantly marketing within the space, he gets requests. Now, the typical request is not somebody calling off the street from an assisted living community saying, I want to sell my house in Andover. That is not the typical referral. What the typical referral is somebody calling and saying, I need an agent to come host an event at our assisted living facility. So that's the exclusive territory. Basically, through the blueprint he's built, we're going to have certain agents are tagged to certain assisted living communities in the areas where you are selected, assuming that it's still available, so that when the appointment request comes in, that's your assisted living community. But not only that, in general, one of the pieces he's going to teach you through his program is how to go out and make contacts with these communities and have conversations and get yourself invited to the events. And like David said, we don't want 10 of our agents all honing in on one assisted living community, for example. It's not necessary because there's thousands. Even if all 28 of you sign up today, we still will only make a tiny dent in the senior living ecosystem. There's so much opportunity available. And then last but not least, where a great deal of David's business came from when he built his team was event marketing. David's going to teach you the structure, how to go meet and make connections in the senior ecosystem, but then how to deliver a world-class event when you show up. So going to the assisted living community, and from event invitations, pre-marketing, post-marketing, The actual presentation is phenomenal, from daunting to done, I think it's called. But he gives you a phenomenal presentation so that you can show up and look like the expert that the people perceive you to be. And then event checklists, follow-up campaigns, etc. So, if you're interested in signing up, you can go to lairrealty.com/sell mom's house. There's a form on there where you can put in all of your information. You'll notice that it doesn't ask you for credit card information yet, because basically what will happen is once you fill out the form, number one, put the areas that you're most interested in. That will notify David, and he'll set up an orientation call with you to make sure this is a good fit for you. But what we believe is that for agents that work this is for somebody that has zero network already within the senior living ecosystem, that starting from zero, we think that if you attend the coaching calls each month, if you do the action steps, basically those action steps are setting up your 2 appointments a week. If you do those appointments, you're going to get events. And we feel very conservative. You'll get 6 transactions your first year. That's super conservative. But what's important to note is that balloons as you do this year after year after year, which is how David built a significant business, a significant team, because he's been in it for so long that you become the person that people go to when they want to sell mom's house. So I think this is a unique opportunity. It's a wonderful niche that no other real estate brokerage, in my opinion, is going after. People go after luxury homes, people go after all kinds of interesting niches, but the one niche that really no real estate brokerage has cornered is the senior living ecosystem. And I'm excited that we have David, who has built an entire career around doing this, building out the blueprint, the marketing pieces, the event campaigns. He's built it all. And so for a small investment, like we said, you're going to conservatively get 6 transactions a year. So the small investment of $150 a month, you'll get your entire investment back with one closing. So anything last minute you want to add, David?
Not in particular. I really appreciate your summary there. I think it was well done. Um, and I really want to stress that what Stacy said. This is a proven system. You know, I've done it before. COVID was a real disruptor to us, but now that that's over, the assisted living and the independent living locations are open for business. They're anxious for content. They have a 500 to 1,000 person warm list that they want to send contact to every week or every month, and they need new content. So that's really important. And the senior centers are doing seminars and events weekly of all types, but really not focused on downsizing. Downsizing is a very attractive topic. People want to hear about downsizing because they all have too much stuff. Even if they're not selling their house, they're interested in downsizing. So the reason I emphasize the events so much is that they work, and you'll be quite busy just doing events. And the same thing at the home shows and so forth. I've pulled a lot of listings out of home shows because our imaging is good, our posters are good, and we got a differentiated message. We've got a differentiated message about helping the seniors, helping the people who are business of helping the seniors, and of course it follows naturally that they would want to let us help them with their own business. I know I've sold several listings just from people in the ecosystem for their own houses or condos, and I'm the only person they call. That's an important factor. You know, most other listing sources are gonna have competition. And we have very little competition in this space, as Stacy pointed out, and they're not focused on it the way we are, with solutions that we can honestly say we do things for seniors that others do not. So I'd really love the opportunity to talk with any of you. You'd be happy to call me on my cell. You don't have, if you're undecided, if you've got questions, my number is on the screen there, 774-696-6125, 24, excuse me. My wife's 25-6124. And I just love to talk to you about it. Let's just talk listings, talk business. Let me know what you're doing now, what your concerns are about the market. If you're not comfortable presenting in person for some reason, and that's got you heebie-jeebie a little bit, let's talk about that. Because even going to these networking meetings and standing up for 30 seconds and sitting down, you're in front of 40, 50 people, and people come in sometimes nervous at the beginning, and they before you know it, they're you see them all over the place, just networking and having a good time, going to these cocktail parties, and they're seeing people that they already know, and they're building relationships. So the whole thing works. It's proven, and I'd love to work with you to make it part of your uh, part of your mix. Most people that do the program spend half their time on it, half of their selling time. So thank you very much.
All right.
I'm
Thank
available.
you, David. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And head over to lairrealty.com/sell mom's house if you want to sign up. And we look forward to having you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.